Yes, Slojo did give you a gifted sub. Did happen last night, did happen. Este Slojo. Estes icons. But here we go, we're getting into our fresh best of 5 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits. We have the South Korean Terran player, the cheesiest Terran in all South Korea, representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss player himself, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our TVP. Now, coming into this matchup, Shameless is the favorite player in a macro game. If he can get into the mid game, then Shameless is the favorite player. But can he get to the mid game? Because HonMonO is hyper aggressive. HonMonO, he does nothing but cheese, nothing but all-in, specifically against Protoss players. He does macro against Zerg, he does macro against Terran, but in TVP, it's 1 base all-ins and 2 base all-ins. Speaking of 1 base all-in, as if on cue, pappy. This should be a 4-ax. Should be a 4-ax mass marine all-in. We can pull the boys with this as well. We're going to pull the boys, mass marine, commit everything across the map. It's all or nothing, and Shameless, he will not scout the main. You can see here that HonMonO, he fully walls off the ramp. Shameless, he does not see the production. It is purposely further back. And again, 4x 1 base all in. Now, the thing about HonMonO is that he does have a reputation, right? I can call him the cheesiest Terran player in South Korea, and everyone knows that. So because of that, Shameless should be playing safe. He should be playing very, very safe. Shameless, he does have a lot of experience with HonMonO. All active players at this point do. They do have their experience with HonMonO. So he should be calming things down, playing it safe. Ideally, would keep the probe for a rescout to confirm the move out. Just because even though you know that HonMonO is hyper cheesy and hyper aggressive, doesn't mean that you know what build he's going for. Like, he's not a one-trick pony. He does have a lot of builds up his sleeve. As Marines are building up, and we're waiting to pull the boys. Behind this, Shameless just going for a standard opener. I feel like almost a hard counter to this would have been like a 2-gate opener, for example. But he's getting a safety shield battery. But the problem is he has to spot the move out. And right now he sees nothing.
I am here in the shadows.
As we wait to pull the trigger. And let's go. The boys are being pulled. That does pull the boys. The Marines, they move that across the map, and the all-in is upon us. It's all or nothing here for HonMonO. Back at home, Shameless, he does not see the move out. He does have a safety shield battery, but he only has 1 gateway. Oh, gate into Twilight Council. This feels greedy. He does go for the hallucination as well, so he won't have the force field. He just went for the NG overcharge. Oof, this might just end, to be honest. The hallucination does spot the boys. Now he knows. Now he sees, now he knows that Shameless is going to have to pull his own boys. He does have a shield battery in his main base. Okay, true. So he can defend his main. He's getting a second battery. Sentry goes down. Yeah, Sentry goes down. We got 1 Stalker. There's 1 Stalker to defend. Second Stalker's on the way. SCVs have to be careful. They have to be careful to overextend. Yep, SCVs, they pull back. Going for that second Stalker. Oh no, they get surrounded. Yeah, it's SCVs, they almost get surrounded. But they do lock down one of the Stalkers. Marines, they start to step in. Okay, the boys on the boys. Nice kiting here with the Marines. A lot of Marines are getting picked up. Now we're up to 3 Stalkers. Yeah, 3 Stalkers, that's enough. That is enough here. And Shameless, he holds. He shuts down the army again. Shout out to that second shield battery. As Shameless will clean everything up. And Shameless will defend. Yeah, he defends, he holds. Whew. Again, I feel like HonMonO's SCVs were a little bit ambitious with getting into the mineral line and trying to catch out the Stalkers. They needed some buffer for the Marines, which they weren't quite able to. There was no buffer. So HonMonO, he will lose every single Marine, and now we're going for the counterattack. We got 4 Stalkers moving out. HonMonO back at home. He has nothing. He has, I mean, to be fair, we have 9 probes against 9 SCVs. True. We economies are very, very low for both players, but Shameless has an army, right? Shameless, he has 4 Stalkers. That's what matters here. What does HonMonO have? HonMonO has 1 Marine, soon to be 1 Marine. The bunker does help, but the bunker shouldn't finish. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. Deny the bunker. Oh no, that's too late. Yeah, he was too tentative. He was too tentative. The bunker does finish. HonMonO, he holds onto the main base. He's getting his natural. Do we macro out of this? No shot. I mean, both players' economies are in the gutter, but Shameless is still far ahead. The tech, the Twilight Council. He can get into Blink. He can get into Blink. He can get into upgrades. He can, of course, make 2 probes at a time. Shameless should recover faster, and he is recovering faster. So this is ambitious here from HonMonO, and there is a chance, don't get me wrong, there is a chance. If HonMonO had maybe killed more probes, then maybe... So chat, 1 full wall at the natural if you know he's all in. As you saw here, it is typically wiser to wall up and to set up defenses in the main base to allow you to pull the boys. If you wall up your natural, you just lose the wall, right? But you want to fight with your boys. And again, that second battery did finish in time. So I would say, like, if you know their opponent's going all in, if you fully wall off the natural, that's a good way to get all of your tech destroyed and a waste of resources. Bearing in mind that this early on, your resources are quite limited and you need to be able to warp in your units to attack. You need to warp in your stalkers. But yeah, trying to defend the natural is the way to get you killed. Like, defending the main base is better. Just because, again, bearing in mind that because your opponent's all in, you can afford to lose the natural. Like, the natural doesn't matter in the early game defense. Of course, it depends on what kind of all in you're up against, right? But against a 1 base all in, your natural doesn't matter. You don't have to defend it. But here we go. Here we go. From here, again, HonMonO, he's trying to recover. Mules are a factor, of course, so he's able to mule up. Slowly taking his natural. Now, the question becomes, from here, does he turn this into a 2-base all-in, or does he turtle up into a 3rd? If forced to, HonMonO can macro. And he might be forced to. Tank volley going off. Stim is on the way. In my mind, the prioritization of Stim here is indicative. Oh god, he gets 3! Jesus! Shameless with some miscontrol, losing 3 stalkers here at the natural. Ay, ay, ay. Calm down, Shameless. Calm down. But earlier Stim feels like an indication that HonMonO will soon move out. Keep an eye on him. Bay's on the way for Colossus production. Shameless, we're going to calm down. We're going to be careful. It would buy a lot of time and could even restore shield building with the battery. In your scenario, to be able to afford a full wall off, I would say would not buy enough time for anything significant. I think it would hurt the defense more than anything. I mean, it would hurt the defense. Because those are resources being spent on Stalker warp-ins, on army units. I would say that, to be fair, to give some credit to what you're saying is, going for a full wall, that does work against Zerg, but that's because Zerg all-ins are a little bit more limited. They're also more melee-based as well, so the amount of DPS output they have on buildings are limited by the surface area. So if you're a Protoss in a PvZ, then walling is good and is what you want to do. But it's a different scenario as we pull the boys. Someone does move in. The first Colossus, that's right. We have force field as well. We have force fields. As tanks are slowly pushing forward, they're gaining ground. Now, if HonMonO can get within range of that pylon, he can win the game. Shameless, he's supply blocked. Tanks are moving in. Tanks are slowly pushing forward. At the same time, Shameless does catch reinforcements. Does get a free tank. Not bad. Is catching reinforcements. HonMonO, he is within range of the pylon. Uh-oh. Yeah, the pylon's going to go down, depowering the robo as well. Shameless still catching more reinforcements across the map. No more Colossus. One is all that you have. And just one Colossus. The natural will fall. At the same time, Shameless gets another tank. Ooh, HonMonO is still rallying. Yeah, he's still missed rallying into the army. Boys are being pulled. These Stalkers have gained a lot of value. So we have Liberator. Liberation has arrived. Again, these Stalkers have been the MVPs. Imagine this army with 2 more tanks. Imagine 5 tanks across the map. But now he's down to 3. Meanwhile, charge is done. We still have all these gateways. Shameless is still mining from the 3rd base. We can still afford to warp in Stalkers. Sorry, warp in Zealous, I should say. So we're going to take it slow. You're going to be patient. Be patient. As he highlights the economy across the map. Likewise, if Shameless can lure the army in, he can force field the ramp and lock down those Marines. So HonMonO does take down the Twilight Council. Bleeds out a lot of Marines. A lot of Marines get picked off there. So because they turn back around. Oh, recalling for a surround. Okay, let's go. He's coming in from behind. The tanks are exposed. And let's go. He does collapse in. Does collapse in. The Colossus may go down, but Zealous take it on top of the tanks. And Shameless will shut this down completely. And cleans up all the tanks, catching up the Liberator. And with that, the second all-in has failed. Second all-in fails. Shameless then moves out. And this time you can end the game. Last time it was just too early and didn't have enough momentum to break through into the main base, but this time he has plenty to work with here. Even pulling some boys. Let's go. The boys are in the mix. Back at him, there's one tank, a handful of Marines. Shameless does blink in. Diving on that tank. And the tank is focused down. And GG gets called. GG gets called. There's nothing left, and Shameless takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Hi, Shameless, he does take a lead in the series, and we'll see if he can extend that lead. We'll see if HonMonO has something else up his sleeve. I mean, he does, of course. We should be seeing more aggression out of HonMonO. Game 1, it was a 1 base, 4 racks all in, pulled the boys. Game 2, what kind of all in do we have this time? Let's go. Let us go. As we are loading into Game 2, going to be loading into Taito Citadel. And spawning in the top left-hand corner here of Taito Citadel, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the Red Zerg down in the soup. Red Terran, I meant to say. Red Terran from South Korea representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. He's cooked, man. He is cooked. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss player. We have the Blue Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. He's Shameless, man. Here we go. Whew. And okay, game 1 we had again that 4 racks 1 base all in. Coming into game 2, we're expecting, I would imagine, 2 base play. So maybe racks into expansion. We'll keep an eye on HonMonO to see if he does stay on 1 or does expand into 2 bases instead. Bearing in mind, just because he's hyper cheesy, hyper aggressive, and hyper all in doesn't mean it has to be off of 1 base. Hello. Okay. So it is going to be what looks to be 2x Reaper. Gas is being taken, bear that in mind. Last game, of course, there were 0 gases because it was purely Marine production. Here, gas is being taken. Once again, fully walls off, and Shameless will not get a scout of the main. So Shameless is unaware as to what's going on. Oh, hold up. We're getting into a 3rd racks. Bearing in mind, again, this is a different variation. Reapers are amassing, getting up to 3 racks Reaper, and we'll see how Shameless sets up. See how he sets up. Once again, just going for a gate expanded to Cybercore, so standard opener out of Shameless. Of course, there's the Reaper cliff here into the main. Reapers will be amassing, will be moving out. This will come down to the micro, to the control. Can HonMonO retain these Reapers over time, ensure he doesn't get surrounded, and pop off in the mineral lines. Likewise, this early on, if there's no safety shield battery, the initial gateway unit can also be called out. We do see one safety shield battery here at the natural. We should be seeing one in the main base as well. It is not uncommon for Protoss players to skip their batteries, but against HonMonO, it's advised to get them. And yep, there it is, a battery in the mineral line. So one battery for each base. That should be enough as long as the Stalker doesn't get caught out in the open. Oh, the boy! Let's go! The boys are being pulled, so it's going to be 3-ranks Reaper with the boy pull as well. Boost Nation does confirm. And HonMonO is moving in. Again, this does hit faster. And can he lock down the Stalker? Yeah, the SVZ attempt this around. They attempt, oh, bit of miscontrol. Yeah, one Reaper gets very low, but does stay alive. Nice control. He does pull back that weakened Reaper. Ooh, does get focused down. So those is one Reaper already. Yeah, the battery is done in the main base, as we did mention. Safety battery in the main. Boys being pulled, just as a buy time for extra Stalkers. Up to 2. Second battery is being thrown down. And Shameless, he holds. Yeah, Shameless, he does hold on. He shuts down the SCVs, he shuts down the Reapers. Almost gets caught out. Has to be careful. Doesn't want to be caught out. Yeah, the battery at the natural is depowered. But now we have 3 Stalkers. Yeah, now 3 Stalkers. This time a less effective all-in here. Last game we got very close. Shameless, he went down to 8 pros, but here he defends well, had his batteries up and running. Killed a sentry, killed a Reaper early on. Even here, pulling back to the shield battery. And HonMonO, he's running out of steam. He's running out of steam. He's got 19 SCVs back at home. Oh, let's go. As we have the second wave, we have the second round of boys. And once again, if you can surround the Stalkers, then you can pull this off. But the boys are being pulled from Shameless as well. He zones away the Reapers, cleans up most of the SCVs. And the SCVs are all going down. Now we can focus on the Reapers themselves. Boys being pulled once again. The Stalkers are falling though, one after the other. Yeah, the battery's out of energy. Down to 2. Down to 2 Stalkers. Oh, down to 1. He has to pull back to the main. Doesn't pull back to the main base. He'll lose every single Stalker. Yeah. We have 2 batteries in the main. We're not using them. Not like this. HonMonO's doing it. No shot. He's doing it. The burst damage. He gets up. What about? Barely not. Doesn't get the Stalker. Blink is now done. There are 2 Stalkers left. Okay, they're barely standing against 11 Reapers. Oof. So we're getting extra warp pins. There are 2 gateways. There's the NG overcharge. Whew, and it's a messy defense, but Shameless, he's barely holding onto the main. Yeah, just barely able to. Very messy. Oh no. Losing another Stalker. The Stalker goes down, but at this point I feel like Shameless, he has stabilized. Yeah, GG gets called. Shameless, he does defend, and Shameless takes game number 2. Whew, GG. GG, well played. The second wave, the second all-in almost popped off, by the way. Like, that was a little bit scary as Shameless, he overcommitted in the natural. He had a hard time kiting back towards his main base, towards his second battery that was on the high ground, and things looking a little bit scary there, but in the end, he barely got back into his main base, saved both Stalkers. GG. GG, well played. Whew. And with that, we are now getting into game number 3, going to be loading into Winter Madness. Going to be loading into that 3rd game. And we'll see if HonMonO, well, what kind of all-in HonMonO has for us this time. Because we know it's going to be an all-in of some kind. So far, it's been all off of one base, true. different variations of one base all in. Now we're getting to game 3. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Hyper 1. It is HonMonO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. Aye, aye, aye. Here we go. Okay, so we are setting up. And we are settling in. We are rolling up this time double gas. Okay, for the first time in the series, for the first time double gas opener. What does that mean? That means faster factory. So game 1 we saw 0 gases, which led into a 4-axe 1 base all in with mass marine. Game 2 there was 1 gas, which led into a 3-axe reaper setup. Game 3 2 gases, factory instead. For the first time this series we will see a factory. I mean, I guess technically we saw that in game 1. I guess we had the tank follow up all in. But here we're going for the factory. Now this can lead into a 1-1-1 one base all in with like early tank and like Viking production or early tank and medevac reinforcements to drop across the map to reinforce. Or it should be factory into CC. This doesn't scream all in yet. Hydra on this SCV. Moving down to the low ground. HonMonO, he's expanding. Okay. I spoke too soon. Never mind. He is moving out across the map. Based on the direction here, it looks like potentially proxy starport. So this could be a 1-1-1 proxy starport out of HonMonO. In my mind, it'd be proxy starport into... Would it be medevac this early on? No, sorry, starport's at home. Wait, it's in the middle of the map. Let's go. So it is going to be the 1-1-1 one base all in proxy starport. With this, I'm leaning a little bit more towards it is going to be tech lab into either cyclone or tank production early on. We could go medevac to try to boost and try to have some micro potential. Otherwise, for added extra DPS, Vikings would make more sense. Landed Vikings can actually excel and they can pop off, especially this early on against early game gateway units. We'll see. What do you have for us? Other options, Liberator, of course, true. And the answer is medevac. Okay, medevac first here by HonMonO. With the medevac, he can sustain his marines, he can tank shots, he can buffer for the tank. And we do see Shameless getting a safety battery here at the natural. Shameless, he did scout the double gas opener, true. He did scout the factory. Getting to his own safety 3-gate response. No battery in the main. And going to early charge, which is ideal against tank all-ins. True. But HonMonO, he will hit first. You can see he moves back with the medevac to ferry over the second tank. Here he comes. And here comes the all-in. So two tanks, a couple of boys to repair. Going to be reinforcing with a Liberator as well. And I can see HonMonO getting on top of the first pylon and the first battery. Second battery on the way. HonMonO is in. He gets spotted. He is scattered. Nice engage here from Shameless. He does force the early siege. He's slowing this down. Tanks are slowly leapfrogging forward. They get on top of the first battery. Battery goes down. Needs to bring down the pylons. Behind the Zelts are amassing, and Shameless is looking fine right now. He's just slowing this down, buying time for the charge lots. Thankfully, Shameless has the second pylon. Keeps everything powered. HonMonO, he is gaining ground slowly. But Zelts are amassing. And Shameless, he commits in. Yeah, he does commit in. Going for the first tank. The first tank will go down. But what about the second tank though? HonMonO, he does break through. He saves it. No shot. He saves the tank. That might just be game. That might just be game. Mule here to repair as well. And HonMonO takes over the natural. The natural will fall. Ay, ay, ay. Second Liberator has arrived. HonMonO, he's doing it. Yeah, even not sieging the tanks. Cleans up the probes, cleans up the army. And HonMonO, he will overwhelm. We have a series. GG gets called, and HonMonO puts a point on the board. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Shameless, he was, I would say, a little bit premature when it came to his attack, when it came to his dive. Waiting for extra zealots there, I feel like would have been ideal. We spoke about this in the previous couple of games, especially when they're trying to explain kind of what you can afford to lose and what you can't afford to lose. When it comes to up against a one-base all-in, you can give up your natural. Like, there isn't as much pressure on you as the defending player to actually engage with the army to protect your natural base. It's nice to save it, don't get me wrong, but if need be, you can give it up, pull back, wait for an extra warp in, and wait for a more opportune moment to collapse on the army. But alas, he did go in with his first warp in and barely didn't get the first tank. That was brutal. GG. GG, well played. With that, we have a series, we have a back and forth, and we're going to be loading into Tourmaline for game number 4. Let's go. We have our game 4. And is this the beginning of the comeback? Do we go all the way to the ace match? Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran looking to fight back, putting a point on the board. And can he have the series? Can he force the ace match? It is HonMonO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. He's Shameless, man. Okay, so we have seen 3 different kinds of one-base all-ins. We saw gasless, 4-Rax Mass Marine. We saw 1 gas, 3-Rax Reaper. We saw double gas, 1-1-1 proxy tank, or sorry, factory proxy starport into tank all-in. What about this time? Okay, getting a gas. 1 gas is being taken. I was mentioning previously that we do often see a lot of 2-base all-ins at a HonMonO, but we have yet to see a 2-base setup here. I mean, again, technically game 1, HonMonO did take a natural, but that was after the failed all-in. Double gas opener. Once again, HonMonO is going for a faster factory, just like last game. This doesn't mean he's going for the same builds, but at least the same opener. Shameless does break in. And does confirm both gases. So Shameless is aware. He's aware of the opener. Pulls back. Hello, SCV. Are we actually just going for the same build? Once again, he's rallied to the center. Once again, proxy starports, and this is looking like the exact same build 2 games in a row. HonMonO's like, he won't expect it twice. True. Bearing in mind the rush distance by ground is shorter here in Tourmaline. There's that proxy starport. As we mentioned, same build. So we should be moving out with 2 tanks. Medevac to ferry the first tank. Oh, sorry, the second tank. Oh, okay, a stronger response here by our Protoss player, Robo Opener instead of Twilight Council. I did mention previously that I did like the Twilight Council into charge. I just wanted to see Shameless wait for a second warping of Zealots instead of going for the first. But here with a Robo Opener, this means early Immortal production is available. We can make early defensive Immortals. Their role would be to push forward and get on top of the tanks and focus them down. We'll see if Shameless can pull this off. Getting a safety battery. I mean, again, this is meant to be a very safe build. First Immortal's already on the way before Shameless even confirms what's going on. And here comes the army. Here comes the army. Got spotted. Shameless down knows. Yeah, now he knows. He's now aware. A couple of boys are being pulled. Okay, it is the same build. But this time we have the Immortal, we have the Prism on the way as well for micro potential. He can micro. Can he get on top of the tank? He can. Yeah, massive pickup here. The tank goes down. Ay. Yeah, HonMonO here extended, but again, he didn't know. HonMonO, he doesn't know what he's moving into. He didn't know about the Robo. Already losing one tank is huge. And he'll lose the other. At this point, like, the wind has been taken out of the sails already here for HonMonO. Prism is defected. We were going into a tech lab into Proxy Banshee. Aye. Tech lab gets shut down. The All-In is heavily delayed throughout all of this. We have more probes building up. We have more Immortals building up as well. Shameless getting further ahead. Can he catch the Liberator? Oh my god. One volley away. Volley's going off. Shameless going for the backstab, going for the mineral line. Lock on is broken. And Shameless is moving in. It does move in. The boys are being pulled. Shameless, he can micro back, of course. Orbing and Zel's the buffer. Fully goes off. Yeah, every SCV goes down. HonMonO can no longer sustain the all-in. What you see is what you get. And again, he only has one tank. Only one. I'll take from the first pylon. Boys are being pulled. The Immortals are moving in. And again, can they get on top of that tank? There's that recall. Yeah, there's a recall back home. Arises with all the Zealots. Tank gets focused down. And Shameless, he shuts down. GG gets called. GG gets called. Shameless, he shuts down the all-in. And Shameless, he will claim the series 3-1, advancing on to the quarterfinals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Shameless, he will claim the series. And again, I feel like this also showcases the downside of this kind of style from HonMonO. Is going for non-stop one-base all-ins does eventually force your opponent to just blindly play defensive. As we mentioned here, this game, what did we see? Robo opener. That's kind of one of the most defensive openers you can go for. Early Robo, blind Immortal production. Didn't even scout what was going on across the map, didn't even know what was happening, but knew that there was a very high chance because of the trend of the series that HonMonO was going for a one-base all-in. So he got the early Immortals, shut down the first tank, and shut down HonMonO. So again, just blindly playing defensive and was able to adapt to HonMonO over the course of the series, and with that a stronger defense here in game number 4. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations to Shameless. Shameless will claim the series, and we have 2 matches left here tonight. Ay. Whew. Up next, we're going to be getting into Mute versus Mini-Zerg. As we mentioned before, this should be the most standard game of the night. We've had nothing but cheese, nothing but all-ins. We have yet to experience a mid-game, a standard back and forth. We have yet to experience like an actual, like normal game of StarCraft. It just hasn't happened yet tonight. That should be happening next. Until then, though, we're going to be cutting to a short break. We'll take a moment here to take a breath, get some snacks, get some food, get some water, get ready here for the rest of the broadcast. We have 2 best of 5s remaining. Up next will be Mute versus Mini-Zerg in a PvZ. Let's go. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon.